A very good evening to the students of Ranganai Varadaraj College of Engineering. It's my pleasure to address students of a reputed institution, especially an engineering institution, after a long time. Um, First of all, I thank Mrs. Brinda Raghavan, the correspondent of RVC, for the opportunity given to me to speak about preparing students to communicate in English for career. Uh, I would like to speak in a sentence or two about the objectives of today's program. First of all, I would like to enlighten the students about the difference that we are going to face in our lives, especially as engineering students as you are, when you have to go and join a career um, as according to the discipline that you are from, you may have some kind of technical requirements, especially when it comes to communicating in English. So in that way, I would like to uh, give you some kind of insight with my own students who have completed the course and are in some good positions um, in different companies. Right. Let us go to the next. Let us have a look at the first slide. Right. To get started, I would like to ask you very few questions. Our whole discussion will be around these questions, and we will try to make sense out of these questions. First, what do we know and think about our own competency in English? Today, what could I call, or who could call someone as having good communication? And especially to say that someone is good at English, we may have few characteristics as the key points, right? Key uh, competencies, right? Are we aware of that one? The second one is that if we need or want to improve our language skills, what are the reliable methods to do it? How far are we so far? And how are we as students in the schools? How are we in the college now? And uh, to be better and to enhance our ability in English, what are the reliable methods that we can have? So next one is, what do accomplished engineers feel about their communication English? Right, today we say that I am good. I might call that my friend is good, or I might even think that I am not good. But it is very important for us to look at from the perspective of the engineering professionals what they think about communicating in English. Next is how far our classrooms could help us to enhance our language skills. So we have today um, uh, English in our classrooms. We had English earlier in our schools, and sometimes when we go even take a master degree, we'll have one or two papers in English. Like how much or how far these papers could help us. Let us have a look at all these things. And before that, I would like you to have a look at the video that I have specially prepared for this program to give an insight to you about what um, our officials, I mean, our professionals in various, they are all my students, and I asked them to give their own idea about this one. Let us have a look at the video first.
Hi people, my name is Shweta. I'm working in L&T for past 1 year. We all have many doubts and we'll be thinking what's the difference between school life communications and corporate life communications. Let me tell you my personal experience. Like when I entered my company, I was calling each and everyone as sir, ma'am. That's the first thing I experienced. That is, I came to know how I have to approach people. Then moving on other side, so I have to talk to clients. I have to tell them how I was working the whole day. What are the things I have done? So we have to make them believe, and we have to explain them in a clear manner. Like we have to tell them that these are the works I have done. So you should not use the term according to me. You have to tell like in my point of view, or in my opinion, and in my perspective, and or I strongly believe this will attract the client and make them to believe you more. You can make use of the sessions and it will be very useful for you.
Hi, I am Yolakshmi. I would like to share few of my difficulties I have faced in my corporate environment. What is first one is accent. Accent plays a major role because you and your colleague will be telling the same point, but because of a lack of accent, your point will be ignored. Your point will be considered as a cheaper, low quality point. So it differs because of accent. And next one is a pass. You should be engaging your lead or supervisor with a perfect pass. And then next point is saying no. You should be perfect in saying no, or politeful in saying no to your lead. Otherwise, all of the works will be coming to your plate, and you can't finish it up, your work and also the lead's work. So you should be saying perfect no. And then jargon plays a major role because in college days you will be saying like um, I am opening the window or next window. You will be saying like that. But it comes to the corporate, we have to be perfect in our jargon. For example, the screen is navigating to next website or a next page like that, and then you can't say like I am coding this, I am coding that. You can't say like that because as it comes to corporate world, you should be saying as I am scripting this, I am scripting, or I am documenting the scripts like that. So jargon plays the major role. So totally 4 point: accent, jargon, saying no, and perfect pass. That is my weakness I have faced in corporate world. Thank you.
Hi, I am Satish Kumar. I am working in Sharda Motors Private Limited, a core mechanical company. In school days, we all used to talk in Tamil with friends, staffs, and families also. Because we are unaware about the importance of English at the stages. Upon entering college also, we are unaware about the power of English. But in the final year, we have to talk in English to get you a job. There, English starts to play a vital role in our life, and it continues in corporate life also. If you take serious about how important the English is, that much you outperform others with good communication skills. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go back to the PPT now. Now, first of all, let us think about the normal procedure that we have in language assessment. So there are various sources, various agencies that test our ability to communicate in English, and they give us a kind of certificate like beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So people sometimes think that yes, I am certified by PEC, I am certified by that particular agency, so I should be good at communication. Next thing is that we have English right from childhood. May so we can say that English starts right in class one, if not in pre-KG. From there, we have a kind of syllabus that is just developing, and we speak English at times when it's required, and we write in English whenever they ask us to write. Okay, right. Do we have any kind of confidence coming in us because of this continuous learning of English right from childhood? And next important thing is that the traditional approach, what we have, could serve, could help us actually to assess ourselves. Though what I mean to say is that please do not think that the agencies will help us to understand about ourselves, or the language that we have learned right from the beginning will help us or give us exactly what we need in the industries to communicate with professionals. And the third point is there any reliable method that we traditionally follow? What we traditionally follow, people will say that yes, if you have to speak in English, go and buy a good grammar book, get your grammar strengthened, and make sure that you don't make mistakes when we speak. And I find that this is absolutely abstract. In fact, I have to say that there is no possibility of doing this one. Okay, so what is it? Let's have a look at the next slide. Right. If you want to assess yourself, that means sometimes you might wonder looking at others that they're better than you. Because when it comes to language, it is very, very difficult for the individual to understand how good he is or how bad he is without having a reliable source to assess himself, or a system to assess himself. Right? Learn about the task that you need to do and need not to do. Say, there are so many exercises that we do. We do a lot of things in English. Most of them may not be related to our career development. Say, for example, we have even in engineering colleges, we have syllabus. Here and there, we will find things that are generally done at all levels. It's like exactly starting with sentence structure, parts of speech, and there are so many things where I may not say that we don't need it, but I would like to say that we have our focus too much on them, which will consume our time a lot in preparing ourselves somewhere, which will not help us to be good at the target profession that we have in our mind. Right. Especially the self-assessment should help us to know where we are confident and where we are not sure and where we need support. Right? What is this language? What ability? It's all about knowing where you can just go and where you need to be cautious and where you need to find some other sources. Let me simplify it further. Saying you are good at speaking in English, it does not mean that you will be able to report things nicely. So you should know that how good are you at compelling things, preparing a report, and how good you are at delivering it. Right? Apply the same concept for all the core skills and work out a pattern. So how good am I how good am I in English? How good, that means it involves all the sub skills within it. So how good am I at spelling? How good am I at communicating with others? How good am I at writing grammatically accurate sentences? How good am I even with my handwriting? How good am I with words? How good am I with natural speed? Like, we have plenty of things that we can worry about. And knowing about all these minute things about language makes you someone who is aware of the language. I hope you understand, my friends. That is, say you are all going to prepare yourself for your career. You should be having clear thought that what kind of career is waiting for us, and in that particular career what are the roles that we are going to play, and to play those roles what are the target skills that we need. In those target skills, what are we good at, and what are we supposed to have a support from, for what we are supposed to have support from others. So such kind of thing is what I call awareness. Today I call myself as someone, as a professional with language. So when I know as a professional, I am aware that this is my strength and this is not my strength. Here I can go by myself. Here I need somebody's support. And here I need technological support. And here I want my friend's advice. This is called, this is what I call as language awareness. And if you can come out and bring out an awareness of this kind with your skills, you will be able to use your language cautiously, advantageously, and most importantly, successfully. Let's go to the next slide. If you want to assess yourself, test yourself in the real world communication, right? You need to have better practice, and for that you need a world where you can actually orchestrate your abilities and show to the world. At the same time, you find your own merits and demerits. Learn about the task that you need to do and you need not do, right? Okay, so these are some of the things I want you to see. Let's go to the next slide now. Let us have a close look at each and every skills that we have in English, which we call as the major skills when it comes to communication. The first one is listening. How do we listen in a classroom, and how we need to listen as professionals? Do we listen actually in a classroom that much? Yes, we have to listen. If not, we will be made to listen. That is sure. But when we become as professionals, and we have to listen for various things. First, information. Next, details. Third, attitude. Fourth, context, value, and utterances. And fifthly, what is implicit and explicit. That means some you have to listen to people because you are going to be paid because of that one. If you don't listen, it is going to trouble you in your career. So, what is this? Oh, you have to get information very carefully. You might ask me the question, what? Don't we do this one in the classroom? Don't we get information? Yes, in a classroom you have first chance, second chance, third chance, you have textbook, you have internet, and you will try to access information and you can relax about getting information. But it is not like that when it comes to a workplace. You get a chance, and that could probably be the only chance that you get in your life sometimes. So you have to be alive to it, and then you have to understand what context things are spoken, what is the attitude of people that speak to us, and how are we supposed to grasp the sense out of it, and most importantly, act accordingly and get their understanding better. Right? Let us go to the next one then. We saw about listening. What is the next skill? Speaking. right? That's we call LSRW: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. The next slide is reading. Sorry, the next slide listening, and then the next one after LS speaking. Next one speaking. I got a very good photo for you. See, when we speak, we always have limited time to react, limited time to think. How do we speak in a classroom and how we need to speak as professionals? In a classroom, we may have um, rarely any opportunity to speak unless we ask. I mean, unless it is required for us to ask doubts, we will not be able to uh, get an opportunity to speak, or otherwise rather we mostly listen, and sometimes we need not listen, and the speaking aspect is something that we don't do at all in a classroom. Right, and of course, in at engineering in at engineering college level, you may have one or two labs in the first year or in the third year to give you some kind of idea about how to speak, how to be in a group discussion, how to ask questions, how to raise questions, and all. Right, but are we going to have the same kind of opportunity there? I hope you have seen that video where three of my students speak about um, what they actually felt. The first girl, I believe Sweta, she says that when I went and spoke to my friends and called them the sir and madam, they laughed at me. And she says that whenever I said by taking advantage, when I begin to speak to them like, hey, this is how we have to do, and they get offended. And the other girl says that you have to be very good at you have to be very good at your accent, you have to be very good at saying no, you have to be very good at jargon, and the last man he says that you have to be very good in English in order to get better results at the workplace. Right, in that speaking is doing a major role, but unfortunately we have very minimum opportunity to make ourselves equipped in that field. Right, next one is what? Reading. Right, in the same slide we have, see, there is a big difference between global comprehension and local comprehension. Right, this is what I wanted to bring it to you. Like we will understand ourselves today clearly in our classrooms, but if someone from other country comes and speaks to us, we will not be able to have the same kind of understanding, or sometimes we might even not differentiate between a joke and a serious command. Right, next one is understanding the plan of the text. Right, yeah. Even while reading, this global comprehension versus local comprehension plays a very major role, right? Understanding the plan of the text, right? What is this text about? How this text organization is? In our classrooms, we may not have the same kind of reading habit as because it will be different. Okay, then sometimes at a workplace you will have not time to go through all the words and know the meaning. And the last thing what I wanted to communicate here is understanding the organization of the text. What is this text actually organized? How are we going to get meaning out of it? What is that which is imperative? What is actually an explanation? Those things we need a lot of reading to be done before that. Well, we'll have a look at it in detail. Shall we go to the next slide? How do we write in a classroom and how do we need to write as professionals? Writing itself has so many things inside, and you may not be good at one and everything, right? spellings and punctuation, for example, vocabularies and idioms, making paragraphs and topics, and linking the paragraphs, uh, making it stylish, rules of the verbs, subject verb agreement, articles and pronouns, and then even while writing, the relevance, clarity, originality, logic, and bringing all those things, that is one skill. And most importantly, sometimes we won't be interested even revising it. Okay, what I mean to say is that there are so many things that is inside writing itself, and we will not be masters of everything. The first thing what we need to do is that make sure that what is our skill and what is not, and for what we need help, and what for what we need to rely on technology. The second, I mean, the next, what kind of shift is required here? As the slide is here already, from normal to professional. You are a normal student now, an engineering student now, and you may have to become a professional. So from here to there, what kind of shift is that? Right, it is a shift from a social level to a technical life, right, from a natural life to an operational life, right. And this is something what we have habituated with, and from here we are going to move to industry level, right. So let us have a look at all those skills again now. So let us go to the next slide. Learn to listen for your career. You have been listening so far, and at occasions you need not listen to. In your classroom, you are allowed to listen, and then you are allowed to even ask again, and you are advantageous in that way. But in your career, you are not going to be like that. Listen to what you need to, than what you like to. That is the priority that you have to find in your career. Listen to people of your target career, right. Target career in the sense, what today I am a professional and I deal with English language, and I follow people in TED Talk. By listening to them, I get a kind of understanding about language, and I have some clues about presentations, and today it is helping me a lot. So you, as very young graduates or students, should be carefully looking at the way people in your particular field speak, and you will get an idea about how to use the vocabulary. Enrich your technical vocabulary. How are you going to do it? Not taking up a particular dictionary and writing down the meaning one word a day. All these things are not going to help you. This is what we traditionally do in a classroom. So what is it? You have to use a word twice or thrice in your day, right. If you got a day, and if you're going to, if you have some words that in your mind which you believe are technical vocabulary, and you may have to try to use them with one particular situation, either by speaking or either by writing. This could be a self-driven activity at the beginning, and then it could evolve into an entertaining one later, right. Today you may not want to listen to any kind of expert, because after 5 or 6 minutes you'll find them boring. But I tell you, you keep listening to them and you keep enjoying it, and try to pretend in the beginning that you are enjoying it. After a day or two, you will find that it is relaxing, it is appealing, it is of some standard, which differentiates you, like that person you listen to, from the rest of the people in the world. Now, learn to speak like a professional. How to learn to speak? It's very difficult, especially because when you have very limited opportunity to speak in your college, right. So I tell you, I have this passion to be associated with the Department of English, and I want to do things in English. And you know what I did? I started actually by imitating people. I imitate my teachers, especially the good ones. I change my tone, I vary my tone and act like them, and I begin to speak like them. And okay, that is one thing. If not, find a platform where you can imitate, right? I'll tell you, you could find a junior, right? Who could help you. by speaking to him about the topics, by speaking to him about the concepts, you will be able to make him understand, at the same time practice your ability, right? We should help, like even peer. You have to find someone who enjoys speaking technically, right? And speak to him. At the same time, who is need. Says, for example, you are good at one particular field, and someone is going to be benefited of with it, and he needs your support. You go to him and speak to him, but make sure that you speak only in English. In that way, you develop. See, it is an ideal technical classroom. The instructor needs to listen more than the trainees need to speak more. I hope this is what my philosophy is. A good classroom is a classroom where the instructor speaks less and the trainees speak more. I was the head of science and humanities in an engineering college. And I always make two things there. One is I create peer groups. I create a group with same kind of mentality, and then I make a junior and senior as pair. And I will instruct these people, do anything to do things, but to help one another, but do that only in English. This has resulted a lot beneficiary to our benefits. Next, read more to become a professional. Right. What are we reading today? Today we have textbooks, right? And the textbooks are meant to give you all that you need. All that you need in the sense that you need not worry about anything, you need not doubt about anything. It is in such a way that you have no doubts at all. I call that textbook which does not make you to have doubts as not a very good textbook. When you go through it, read it, you should have doubts. And language should be such. Thoughts should be such. It should lead from one to the other. Right? Even you might think, is it enough? If you open any of your textbooks in first year, second year, or third year engineering and open and read one line, you will find that it is made of simple present tense. It will be either in active form or it will be in passive form. Right? Is this enough? Is this input going to help us? No. Right at the beginning, you should be reading monographs, articles, research papers side by side along with it. You may not understand them at all. You may have lots of doubt. Sometimes you may sit and feel that there is nothing that you understand from there. But it happens like that. And you should do it again and again till you try to get something out of it. The slide. Okay. We can rely on technology for many things. No, no, we are going to writing again, right? Okay, we have come to writing now. Okay, writing as a professional. Okay, writing is one productive and active skill like speaking, right? When it comes to listening and reading, you are active, but you are not actually productive. And it is not, people do not know exactly what is happening with you. It is not like how we write in our exams. Writing here is different, right? Exams, we don't have any kind of external support. In a limited time, we have pen and paper and we sit and write with our thought and mind without any kind of support. But as a professional, you will be supported with a lot. Technology will be there, friends will be there, and you should be more worrying about how, with all the support available, to make better scripts, better paragraphs, better communication with words and better text. right? So practice scripting your thought right at the beginning. How in your department you could do newsletters, you can write reports, reviews, even a summary of things that you do in a day. You should be, our language learning in a classroom should be close, and they should be productive with immediate rewards like an appreciation from our class teacher, an appreciation from the management, or something like that. If there is a system created like that, and where you do things and enjoy the appreciation of others. I mean, there are a lot of things that we can think about in an engineering classroom where the children could participate, not only simply reading and writing, and there are so we can think about so many other things. When we have these things coming and students getting and into the act and participating enthusiastically, we will have a wonderful atmosphere for the kids to prepare themselves for their career. Next slide. Remember, it is important to listen, speak, read, and write like a professional before you begin to do better than them, right? That's very important. So first, what is the first thing? You may have to be like them first in order to be better than them, better than the others. Today, you are students, but tomorrow you are going to be replacing the best in the business. So how can you start doing that one? You may have to first be like them, know about them, manage things that they can, and find out things that they cannot. Only then you can be better than them. So there is no other way than to understand them and be better than them, evolve better than them. Okay, shall we go to the next slide? Right. How do we know we are improving? Sir, you are telling us do this, do that, but actually, how will we understand that we are becoming good? When we can understand technical discourses in our field and discuss with others. The day you, as an engineer, understands a new concept, what is really new, right? You come across in a journal, or you come across it in a newspaper, or you come across from your friend, right? When you know that, and when you want to discuss it, and we have a surrounding for you to discuss, you will find that you are improving. The very thought and feeling that I have something in my mind, and expressing that in English and using the right vocabulary in the right context will make you to feel that you are better and you are becoming better. The slide. Right. We can comprehend the research or technological developments by ourselves, right? So this is the research growth in the field of research. This is what the scientists have made, this is what engineers have achieved. I think from here we will be able to go on. So when you can understand the actual concept, and by reading, by writing, and by speaking to your friends, automatically you can feel that you are growing in this field. These all these things should happen beyond like you are simple thinking about going about semester exams, writing, and scores, right? All those things are important, but most importantly, if you have a career in your imagination, you may have to do all these things, right? When we begin to doubt things and write them down, so this is what this is what people think that they can accomplish with the knowledge that they have, and this is how we will be able to achieve. That's what they think. But I feel that with this technology at hand, with this concept, we will be able to do better than that. And when you begin to think like that, when you begin to write and you circulate, where to circulate it, you have your own department, you have your groups. When you do it in your groups, you will be able to gain confidence, and you will know that yes, I'm beginning to grow as a professional, more than the simple marks that we have that comes at the end of every semester. The slide, please. Yes. Right. Next, when we come across solution and speak about them, right? We come across solutions, right? Okay, this is what I have found, and this is how the researchers are talking about, and I read this one, and I come across then this one, and I believe that this could be a possible answer for this. You think about it, you write about it, you speak about it, you listen to people of that kind, and when you do all these things happening in the right language with the right people, and I believe that you are growing as a professional, and you are growing in your language. You know why? The ability to tell stories is one, but the ability to communicate scientifically about scientific facts is the other one. You should be more focusing into your vocabulary, which should be technical, and the jargon that is professional, and most importantly, the idea that it comes to you should be able to get reflected in the form of words, right? Language is not independent. Language is dependent on something. A teacher of English language has his own vocabulary, and he depends on them for his own purpose. And an engineer is with his own set of vocabulary, with his own set of thoughts, with his own specific needs and requirements, and he has to come with those things to be productive in his career. No language can be without the background concept. That is what I have given in the last slide. Have a look at it.
Sir,
Ma'am,
good
good
evening,
evening.
sir. How are you?
Fine, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Actually, I too turned a student. So I was hearing through all your presentations through slides and the video presentation. But even there was not a clarity when the video was displayed. But even we could hear the audio, and with that we can be able to come to a clear understanding with your explanation over that, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I should thank you for the opportunity. In fact,
Actually, sir, initial duration there was a little break, and there was a little technical issues because my video was about to be posted as a separate one. There was a simple trouble in that. Sorry for that. Overall, your the session was very fine, sir.
thank you, ma'am. Kind of you. What to do? This is the first time we are all learning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Then, sir, actually, the session was full of how we can get a killer instinct over learning this language. Am I right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Listening, reading, then speaking, then writing.
Yes.
A special kind of push has to be given to the students always to learn this language. Why? And what could be the best procedure? Because you already have done that game associated learning. Am I right, sir? So,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
how we could be able to inspire the student normally with our teaching procedure, how it should be varied to make a special interest towards the students. Can you be able to make it in a point?
Yes, ma'am. First thing I would like to tell is this: the concept that I have introduced to the world of research is regular games assisted language teaching, and you can actually communicate better when the situation is natural and compelling you. So a small game, I'm not talking about just a game designed for improving vocabulary or something. You, while playing cricket, while playing basketball, when you make it a point to speak in English and communicate with others, it comes so naturally, and the necessity varies, and then vocabulary also varies. So, but that is meant for kicking first. That means that is meant for the beginners, especially Tamil medium students who have no idea about how to communicate at all, will be able to have a better launch pad with that kind of setup. Like he will have to communicate, act, and he will forget that he is talking, and he will be more natural in the days to come. But that is the first step to bring the Tamil medium students to normal, or what we call as English medium students with them. Right. Then that is important. And the next thing is that they begin to live in the campus itself as professionals, where they do a lot of things along with other, a lot of things as professionals, like noting down what is happening in the class, reporting about the events of the class, and then communicating about the concepts, uh, supporting the teachers, department newsletters, circulating new ideas with their name, with their photos, and sharing it with the parents, and keeping them as a record. All these things will make them to go to the next level. These are the two things. First, bring them to the normal, to with the basic vocabulary, sentence making ability, and grammar knowledge, and then take them to a professional life. That is the second level. These are the two things that we should be focusing, according to me.
Okay, sir. Definitely, we will make it to our teaching fraternity, and sure, we will implement it with all our students, sir. Yes, sir. Then, any other consideration that we people, either the management or faculty members, can do to give an inspiration to the students?
According to me, ma'am,
Sir,
I will
from my
always.
sorry for the intervention. The thing is, sir, actually, it should not be like students are just made to listen. They should be given lots of work like writing and next levels, so that the points which we are discussing now could be collaborated better, and the students will come out in the proper form. So, what do you want to say upon this?
In the classroom setup, ma'am, and even in the lesson plans, there should be a lot that will, not only in English classroom, also in other classrooms. There should be a lot where the kids have to come and participate with, especially when an explanation is required, or when a presentation needs to be done, when a summary has to be done, when a dictation, like even every, I mean, not only in English classroom, and particularly in technical classrooms, there are so many beautiful roles that the kids can play, which will also reduce the burden of the instructor himself. It is a win-win situation for both. So we may have to see how far these kids, at least in the second year and third year or final year, these kids have their own roles to play. This will make them, when there are roles in the classroom for them to play, it will kill the monotony of the class, as well as the kids will have a kind of responsibility. They will enjoy it. The teachers will not be overburdened, and that I feel that it is an ideal classroom, ma'am. I'm not just putting, speaking about myself. These are the few things we worked out and we tried to implement, and they have yielded very good results. Just this is from my point of view. I may be needing some more improvisations when we have to fit it into a particular institution according to the setup that we have.
Sir, thanks a lot for all your session, because it is not up to the time limit that we have already decided. It is more than that, because session was quite interesting, and you can make the questions from the chat line, sir. Through the messages, a few people have conveyed a questionnaire to you, and we can make it later. And if you have any reply for the questionnaire, you can also make it in the chat line, sir. And thanks a lot once again for your session, and hope we'll be connected again, not obviously through this webinar, also in live, in our premises. We expect you soon, sir. Once this COVID gets eradicated, then we can make a particular session for our students too, sir. Thanks a lot, and convey my special wishes to your management, because they have also promoted this session to everyone. And thanks a lot, sir.
Welcome, ma'am. The pleasure is mine. Thanks a lot.